Peer support basically saved my life.
By all accounts, Hugh Baker was dealt a bad hand. He was diagnosed with bipolar disorder and HIV and struggled with addiction and homelessness. But he's got an ace up his sleeve, his attitude and his desire to help others.
And I'm so grateful for all the experiences, positive and negative, because they've been learning experiences. They've been experiences that I can build on. And the most important thing is that I can now be a witness to other people through peer support, help them through my own peer experiences. And to me, that's a great gift.
Through a new 55 plus program called Horizons, he's using his lived experience to help seniors. Hugh explains how the peer support program works, but first, more about his personal journey that took him from teaching English in Asia to college in Jerusalem and how he ended up turning his compassion into action.
Yeah, in 1986, I had a 2 year death sentence, and I'm still here 40 years later. It was just a few months ago, I was walking home from the hospital where I get my blood test. And I thought, I wonder, I should count up how many years I've been positive. And I did. And it was 40 years. I just celebrated that a lot with my friends and family. And my faith has strengthened through that. It's been a very helpful and supportive. And through my experience and through my living with HIV and living with mental health and addiction, I can now offer that to other people because I kind of been there, and I hope I can show them that I understand and meet them where they're at, so that they might be, I don't know, able to thrive and celebrate life and find a newness. A lot of us feel that as we grow older, we're not going to have much more to live for, but I think we do have a lot to live for. Yeah. There's been some real rough spots, some really scary times, and but there's also been a lot of victories, and I celebrate those victories and very grateful for every day. I do a lot of positive work with myself. I'm involved in a men's group, for example, which is very supportive, and that's also part of my life. So I surround myself with connections, with people that I can connect with, because I know that the opposite of connection, according to Gabor Mate, the doctor, he says is addiction, and going into those dark spaces. And I don't want to go there anymore. Want to live life to the fullest. Yeah.
What excites you about this new program called Horizons?
Well, the fact that it will reach out to older adults, that's our aim. But we're not going to have any barricades to the course. So we all know that people get lonely and solitude when they're older, and we want to break that solitude by offering a course where they can reach out and get connection, and also look at growing um, growing into our older years with joy and positivity. So that's what we're going to be concentrating on. It's not going to be a group of people talking about their war wounds. It'll hopefully be a group of people that are celebrating being alive, and that they have more time. We all have time, and we can't give up. And having that support from each other is what we want to encourage. Having the ability to reach out and talk to somebody who's been where I am going through, um, really has enabled me to live a good life. Um, I started peer support about 7 years at CMHA, and just telling my story and having people walk beside me has been really helpful. Also, I do that with other people. Try to be there, meet them where they're at, and don't kind of take an upper attitude.
Do you find people tend to open up more then when they see that kind of
Yes,
empathy?
yes, because they know that, you know, maybe the diagnosis that you have is the same diagnosis as the other person. So there's this understanding right away, and that's the beauty of peer support is that you don't have to explain where you're at. That you can just um, be be there for the person. Yeah, yeah. So and peer support is about active listening. It's about paraphrasing. It's about listening in a way that um, shows that you're making sense. Eye contact. We learn all of these tools in the peer support program. I'm also involved with a group called the Calgary Respite House, and this is for people who are suicidal. And I'm a peer support specialist there. And if a person is suicidal, they can reach out um, to the house and have a short stay of 3 to 5 days and receive peer support from people in the house, staff that are there 24/7, and it kind of brings them away from the precipice. I was seriously ill, and I ended up at the Foothills Hospital, and I was admitted to the hospital for a period of, I don't know, 6 weeks or so. And during that time, there was a lot of interviews, and they came up with the diagnosis of being bipolar uh, and schizoaffective disorder, because there was some psychosis involved. And that kind of scared me because I'd never had a diagnosis like that before. Um, but it's also part of my personality, and I love that about myself is my spontaneity and my being full of life, and I'm very careful about taking medications that I need to take, and attending appointments, working on myself. I used to go to 12-step programs, and they were very helpful. Um, I started, not just me, but a group of us started a HIV peer support because people were dying everywhere, and we bought a pager. This was through the Red Cross. They financed a pager that we would give to the doctors, and if they had a newly diagnosed person, they usually don't have enough time to spend with a newly diagnosed person. They would bring us up, and we'd meet in a coffee shop with that person confidentially, and talk to them and support them and tell them about various treatments and get them, just basically talk about living with the disease rather than dying with it. And I think that really made a difference in people's lives. Yes, we had training from Katie, which is the Center for, oh, I don't know, it's Katie, which is AIDS Treatment Information Exchange in Toronto. And we had some training from them. And it was from that training that I said, you guys, we got to now use this. And So the idea of a beeper back in the day worked really well, and doctors were actually um, sending people our way, and then we did a training, and I facilitated that training in peer support in Calgary. There was a lot of prayer and breathing and pace, self care that had to happen in order to keep a balance. Because with bipolar, sometimes you get off balance, and a depressive symptom may become very, very serious. You know, you get right down into feeling depressed, then you feel lonely, and then you feel solitude, and then you feel alone, and before you know it, suicide ideation comes up, and you have to fight that. And the way sometimes I had to fight that was go to the hospital, contact my doctor, um, also contact the other peer support people, get support from peers themselves. So we would be helping each other. Yeah, it's an amazing model, peer support, and it can work in, I think, in all sorts of fields. I don't think we've learned to explore how far fetched how far it can reach. And I know with HIV and with the work we do here at CMHA and the Horizons course, I'm hoping that we'll build that peer support within each other. Yeah. It brought me back from the edge. There were times when I was seriously suicidal, and it would bring me back from the edge. I would reach out and talk to somebody, um, or yeah. So talking and that talk therapy, CBT therapy, is very powerful. So that would be something that would um, really, really, really work for me personally. For some people, maybe not, you know, but for me personally, I would connect with new people and connect with things. Yeah.
When did it occur to you that you had a gift for this? Was there a certain time where you went,
Well, I think when I was younger in Jerusalem, when I traveled and I joined this church, and just the fact of reaching out to people, that's when it began. And yeah, and I guess I have a certain attunement to people's suffering and compassion for people. And when I see suffering, and I've traveled to Asia, India, I've really seen a lot of suffering, and that probably is where I learned deep inside myself about um, having that compassion for other people, but also for myself, you know. And that compassion for myself is about forgiveness, it's about love, it's about courage, and it's about being there not only for myself but being there for other people. Yeah. A lot of it, I love to travel and love to experience new things, so I would allow that to kind of happen to me,
yeah,
and deliberately go into situations where there is suffering and see that suffering. I worked at the drop-in center doing my practicum there. I lived at the mustard seed. I still live at the mustard seed for 7 years.
you lived.
I do, at the apartments on
Really?
10th Avenue and Center Street.
Yeah.
And when I arrived back in Canada from Tobago.
Mhm.
I had no money, and
Mhm.
I went into the system, and somebody called me up from the mustard seed and said, we might have an apartment for you for $300. And I said, that's a miracle, you know. So I went down to see them, and I
Yeah.
got it, and it was probably the size of 10 feet by 10 feet. It was a very small studio apartment,
Yeah.
and there was just a bed in there. There's a stove, a refrigerator, and bathroom. But I remember that first night, that first time I arrived in my little suite, and I actually had a lock,
Yeah.
a door,
Mhm.
what's the word, deadbolt.
Yeah.
And I turned the deadbolt, and I just said, "You're safe." And I started to cry, and I just cried. I was so grateful for that safety, getting off the street, being in a place where I could now work on myself, you know, like Maslow's hierarchy
Yeah.
of needs.
Yeah.
You know, now I had my housing kind of taken care of, and I still do. You know, I'm still with the mustard seed. I'm in an apartment a little bit bigger, and but so grateful for what they've done for me. I look at my own personal group, my own personal support group, you could say. Uh, it's over at First Street Market, which is a bar, and we all know each other's name.
Mhm.
We're all over 55, 60 years old. We all support each other, and that's peer support. But you know, it's over a beer or two, you know, and that's okay. And we care about each other, and I think that's the advantage of people on that same age level, that they can. Like last night, for example, I was at the bar and we were all dancing to music from the 60s,
Yeah.
70s, you
Yeah.
know. So
Yeah.
it was a fun time, and you know, it wasn't part of a program, it
Yeah.
wasn't part of anything,
Yeah.
but it was just being alive and being human and celebrating who we are. For me, the most important thing is breathing. Just to breathe in and breathe out, because that's life, and that's energy. And the more that we get in touch with our breath, the more we regulate ourselves, the more we come down to a place of regularity. And I find that breathing uh, is and mindfulness, meditation, are all things that really help to um, move me forward on my recovery. Yeah, yeah.
That breathing thing, it seems to evade me. I just, I can't.
Mind, just let them move on.
Mhm.
And that's really what meditation's about, is you're breathing, and then you think, oh, the apple pie in the fridge. And then you think, no, just let that go and just breathe. And because breath is life. And that's what I'm learning right now. It seems so simple, but it seems to work well with me. And if I'm getting anxious, or if I'm feeling I'm in a difficult social situation, just breathing in and breathing out, and that helps to center me and ground me.
What else helped you in your darkest
Maybe
times?
being kind to myself, actually treating myself with kindness rather than with that inner critic that we all have, and that can really destroy us and put us down. But being kind to ourselves, having good self care, building ourselves up, I think that's a little bit of the secret that we all need in our lives. And through positive affirmations. There's lots of tools that we can put in our toolkit, and this is what we learn at CMHA and recovery colleges, to find those tools, and tools that work for each person will be different. But breathing, meditation, mindfulness, positive affirmations, looking at yourself in the mirror and just saying, I love you, that's to me so powerful.
Is that, would you say that's one of the things that's kept you going, is having gratitude?
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. Um, I'm so grateful for who I am and for the experiences I've had, and also that I'm now in a place with CMHA where I can help out other people and give give from my heart to other people. So there's that gratitude is like forgiveness, like compassion. It's way up there as an important part of who I am. Yeah. And I'm so grateful for all the experiences, positive and negative, because they've been learning experiences. They've been experiences that I can build on. And the most important thing is that I can now be a witness to other people through peer support, help them through my own peer experiences. And to me, that's a great gift. It's a great gift. And it would be such a shame if I don't use that special gift. And so I love working here. I like the work we do at Recovery College.
Yeah.
Not only do I do peer support, but I facilitate programs on mental health and recovery, and sometimes I see such amazing changes in people's lives through the programs. Like just last week, there was a lady. I was on the C train, and the train came up, and the lady, I knew her, and she had been in my classes. And I looked at her, and she looked so well. Her color in her face, she was smiling, and I thought, that person 4 years ago, when she first came in my class, she was scared. She was lonely. She didn't, she just was having a really hard time. But that glimpse of her last week made my heart jump with joy, because it makes it all worth it, doesn't it? I can very quickly run into that low self-esteem, and usually I try to get myself out of the situation I'm in. Like if I'm at home and I'm feeling, I just real low self-esteem, I'll put my shoes on and put on a jacket and go for a walk in nature along the rivers. And it heals you, and that's what I love to do. Or like you do, ride your bike.
Yeah. It's huge, just getting outside, right?
Yeah.
And if you had a message to a senior that was watching this and was maybe considering this horizon, but I don't know, I've never been to counseling, I've never been to a peer support, I feel uncomfortable, what would you tell them about coming to this group, to Horizon?
Horizons isn't really about counseling or about a group.
Yeah.
It's about connection. It's about connecting with other people and being in a place where we can find joy in our later years. That life isn't over, and together we can meet new people, break that isolation, and do some fun things. So a lot of it's fun. We'll be playing games. We'll be, it's not all about therapy, because it is no therapy.
Right.
It's peer support, and in a way that we have fun with it,
Yeah.
that yeah, and I hope the success comes when those people who graduate from each class
Yeah.
then make friends with themselves and make friends with other people who were in the class. That would be wonderful. That to me would be a great reward. Yeah.
Or maybe go on to be peer supports themselves.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
And
'Cause
that's not
everyone has-
unusual.
yeah.
Yeah.
You see
Yeah.
that, hey? That well, you have to
Yeah.
start somewhere,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
I have a gentleman approached me, and that's what he wants to do is peer support.
Yeah.
And so when courses are offered, I'm hoping that he might join up.
Yeah.
Yeah.